people, which also affects the older generations, is trust. Yeah? That is why you even saw Morara Kebaso. He formed a party, Inject, but after some time, there was a big problem. He even had to refund some people who contributed in the process. Yeah? So our main problem is the trust. Let's take example of 2024 when we were united under one cause across the country. If you want to know that it's not like we trust each other, but we trust some of these political figures. Look at what happened when the late Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, joined hands with Ruto. It weakened the protests. It weakened the expressions. Yeah? So we don't really trust each other. And that is why I believe, because for you to be united, there must be a reason for you to unite. So just the same way Finance Bill united us in 2024, we should then, because when we talk about issue-based politics, everything that is a problem, economic restraints, unemployment and all that, everybody talks about them, including the older generation. Every politician, when they come, they offer the best solutions to these problems, yeah, when they're campaigning. But then, for us to ensure this is possible, I believe we need to have a political vehicle that can unite us as young people across the country. Because most of the political parties that exist today, they are regional-based politics.
United on what, Kwach?
What would be the binding
what would be that binding thing? Remember 2024, the binding thing here was, you know what? You cannot continue to rape and plunder the economy of this country and we don't have jobs. And you cannot continue with corruption and then come and still find ways. It was binding for people that came together around it. What would be the glue in this political vehicle?
You are very right.
That brings people together.
Very right. What we are yearning for as young people, and even the older generations, is change. So the binding force should be change. And this change is what I don't believe. And that is why, even in my home county, where we have a political party that is dominant, I didn't run on that political party. Yeah? Because I believe we cannot necessarily change or make this change from within these political parties.
So if what would be the unique change? And I agree with you. We're trying to understand what would be that binding force that will bind the youth for together. What is that specifics of the change that you're talking of?
If we are forming a political vehicle,
right,
we put down exactly how we want this political vehicle to operate and how every leader or every employee in this political vehicle should operate. And then we make sure that everything that we put down works. So that if you go against these things, you are recalled.
But every party has that. Yes. Every existing party has that.
But it is not working.
So what will make this work? It is there,
but it is not working. So what will make this work is, you see, youths think differently. Youths approach things differently. And remember, most of us, we went to school. Yeah? We went to school, we are skilled, in as much as we are unemployed, but we are skilled. And that is why we have all the time to make all the noise online.
Okay.
Yeah? So if we come together and make a framework of how we want this thing to operate, yeah, and we insist that it operates, then I believe right now we are just divided. Because after all, everybody is trying to survive. He is running on a DCP party ticket. Why? Because that is the force. Let's just be practical. That is the force within.
So could it be, perhaps, as we wrap it up, that today, the country, not just the youthful, the country has not yet defined their inspiration towards 2027?
I think there is a good question that you've asked my brother Kwach about the glue. I think it's Ndu was asked what is the glue, because in 2024 we had a glue, the finance bill. We don't want the finance bill. We want it dropped, and we don't want things to run the same way that they were running. That was the glue. So we have to ask ourselves, number one, do we want this change bad enough? That's number one. Number two, are we ready for this change? But number 3, are we patriotic enough? Because the reasons I ask these questions, for example, under patriotism, how many youth in this country, for example, know about even what is going around and what is happening within the political cycles, for example? Because oftentimes we talk about the change, but we are not ready to ask ourselves, how do we get to that particular
change?
To that particular change. Finally, I am of the school of thought that we should not reinvent the wheel as at now. We have not gotten to that particular point where we can talk about forming our own political party. I believe that there's already an existing wheel, and we can make some changes here and there. We can make a few amendments here and there that align to our ideology. And finally, as I conclude, I believe that the youth ought to be the change they want to see in those political parties.
Thank you.
All right. Well,